Let's get you to our top story right now at noon. A Douglas County high school teacher accused of having sex with students faced a judge today to hear her charges. This just hours after she turned herself in.
A grand jury indicted 25-year-old Maris Nichols, a teacher at Alexander High School, on 27 counts. We have made multiple requests to the school district asking about her employment status. They have not responded. Atlanta News First, Tracy McPeer joins us now live from the Douglas County Courthouse. So, Tracy, what happened in court today?
Well, a lot happened within just a few hours this morning. Nichols was arrested and booked again, and she went before a judge. This is video from inside a Douglas County courtroom on Thursday morning of 25-year-old Maris Nichols, the former high school teacher accused of having sex with students, who was indicted by a grand jury on Wednesday on 27 counts. During Thursday's hearing, Nichols waived the reading of her warrants. Nichols was first arrested in May, accused of abusing at least 6 children, 4 of whom were identified as students at Alexander High School, where she was a teacher. She allegedly had sex with more than one student, and she also is accused of sending inappropriate pictures and videos to several other victims. Nichols was out on bond, but had a bond revocation hearing scheduled for next week after a number of alleged bond violations, like violating her home curfew 38 times and going to restricted locations at least 47 times. On Wednesday, that grand jury indictment included 27 counts, like 8 counts of sexual contact by an employee, 5 counts of sexual exploitation of children, 3 counts of grooming of a minor, 1 count of child molestation, and 3 counts of cruelty to children in the first degree. Nichols remains for now in the Douglas County Jail. Now, since this arrest is the result of a grand jury indictment, Superior Court has jurisdiction. Now, her next hearing will be in Superior Court on Monday. Reporting live in Douglas County, I'm Tracy McPeer, Atlanta News First.